All right, what's up, Drive Turkeys? Oh, I'm in this. Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, let's just stay sideways. Yeah, I feel like that. Now I can point at stuff. Look over here. Look over here. Okay, the fourth theme, and I think we have actually only done two before this, so location and place. The fourth theme we're going to talk about is human environment interaction. We call this HEI. This is a huge thing in geography, and basically what this is, it's the way that humans and the natural environment affect each other. You're going to be reading tonight an article on Fijian Island and tourism, and boy, is there a huge effect that the land has on the people, but also that the people have at the land. So we need to kind of think through these things. How do we positively impact the land, and how does the land positively impact us, and how do we negatively impact the land, and how does the land negatively impact us? I would like you to think of 4 things for each of those categories. So pause this video, make a T-chart, put HEI, positive and negative, and just brainstorm 5 for each. Pause now. Seriously, pause it. Did you pause? Are you looking for the pause button? It's right over here. Okay, we're back. So what I'd like you to do now is, example, my house. Think about your house and how your house and where you live has changed the environment. So list 5 things about your house. Pause now. Button's right there. Excellent. So now what you've done is you've defined something and you've thought of your own examples. Pretty much by the end of this, I'm not going to have to even teach. It's a beautiful thing. So we're going to look at a case study on human environment interaction tomorrow, because I can't get to the slide right now. I think I just browser tab, yeah. And it's on Dubai. So tomorrow we'll do it really quickly in the morning. But basically, you should know, you should take notes on this, that a lot of what we talk about when we talk about human environment interaction is resources, or access to resources, or availability of resources. So we need to be able to define what a resource actually is. First off, we have non-renewable resources. Well, what are those? We know that there's things like petroleum, gas, natural gas, coal, stuff like that. And we can use these until they're gone. Now, you would know something if you paid attention to physics, which is that actually you can't destroy anything, and eventually we will get fuel again. But a non-renewable resource, according to geographers, is any resource that we are using faster than it can replenish itself. So in California, technically during our drought, it was a non-renewable resource because we were using water faster than we were getting more water. Does that mean that when all humans are dead, there will be water again? Absolutely there will. When we all die and all the fossils go down, there will be more petroleum fuel. But for now, we're using something faster than it can be renewed. That's called a non-renewable resource. Cool? Next up, obviously, renewable resources. And essentially, that's something that's being produced more rapidly than it's being consumed. Examples of this depend on where you are, but for us, it's things like trees, as we plant more trees legally, air, kind of, water, kind of, soil, kind of, animals, etc. These are all things where in certain places they might be non-renewable resources, but in other places they're renewable resources, right? So it's about accessibility and renewability. Cool? Turn right into the camera. Cool? Good. Now, we have some issues. There are a few things that humans do to interact with their environment that have a negative effect on the number of resources we have. 2 of those things are pollution and overuse. Essentially, our use of certain materials can upset the environment so much so that now its ability to renew itself depletes. For example, something like deforestation, even though we have plenty of trees, or we have more trees than we need, let's say, the more trees we take out, the less oxygen we can get in the environment. So in that way, we're overusing one thing, and it's leading to a non-renewable resource the other way. You guys might have seen recently, or if you're watching this video in 2020, last year, that the Amazon rainforest is on fire right now. Those are what we call the lungs of the world. And if the Amazon rainforest is destroyed, we won't have any oxygen. And so even though there's plenty of trees in the Amazon, and we still don't need that many trees, the larger trees themselves give us the renewable resource of air. So we use pollution and overuse can ruin these renewable resources and change them. a very famous case study, and we'll start in on this tomorrow, is water pollution in Rio de Janeiro. Actually, the water is so polluted there that in the Olympics, they couldn't put the swimmers in the water because they kept getting diseases. So we're taking these things like water that are renewable resources and we're turning them into non-renewable resources. We will watch this tomorrow for a case study. And so what you need to know is a term called sustainability. This is everything when it talks to human-environment interaction. Basically, sustainability is the practice of treating resources so that they'll be available forever. So it's making sure we only use as much water as we can use without going over its renewability, right? That was a terrible sentence. Hey, 1 second, I'm in the middle of an online lecture. Pause, please, everyone. Okay, I'm back. He's still talking. All right. Bye, Mr. Draper. Why do we care about sustainability? Well, we want these resources for our kids, but why do some people not care about sustainability? That's what we got to get into. And there are actually 3 different pillars of sustainability. The first is environmentalism, and that's managing the environment. Those are things like conservationism. Should we make it so the world is conserved, so we have enough for everyone? Or a preservationist would say there are some areas we shouldn't ever touch, ever, right? And that's a preservationist. A conservation is keeping enough for ourselves, conserving enough for ourselves. A preservationist says, actually, the environment itself is its own special thing and we shouldn't mess with it because of its natural beauty. A place like Yosemite is a preservation. A place like, the Redwoods is a conservation because we can still use those resources. There's the definitions right there. Not one right out there, but in your own words. There are some economic promotions to sustainability, those are any costs associated with resource usage. We can sometimes increase those costs the more we use things, so people use less of them, like taxes on wood, or we can decrease those costs and make it easier for people to overuse those resources. For example, letting people use as much water as they want without a penalty. So we have economic motivations. And the third pillar is societal. It's the value that we hold in sustainability. Do we care about sustainability? And that's our social pillar. We're going to kind of cruise through the next bits. I want to keep it short. So, no, I'll do this tomorrow in class. Have a good night, guys. Hopefully this was pretty painless. You just got those few things written down.